Brothers and sisters, glad to be here. Glad to be here. Glad to be talking about this. This is a very interesting subject. Our brother Bruce Karim is on here, and he brings up some interesting points. And I'm glad because I like for us, brothers and sisters, to bounce off one another. To be able to bounce off one another so that we could get a thorough understanding. And I appreciate any clarity. And our brother is putting out some clarity because he's talking about Talmadge here and the confession he makes in 1977 that Butler and Johnson were not with him. And that is true. That's true. They were not with him. Butler and Johnson were actually released in 85. That's true. In 87, the names were cleared by C. Vance. That's true. But what they're not telling you that they were complicit in working with the federal government, and the fact that they were in on the organization of the crime. The fact that they were in on that is such as helping them with understand the diagram of the Audubon Ballroom and making these runs. So they were accessories. They were accessories, but they didn't actually pull the trigger because we are talking about this killer. And being an accessory, you don't get as much time as individuals that actually pull the trigger. So no, they weren't with him to commit the crime. That's true. But they were accessories. So I think it's important for us to say that Butler and Johnson, I'm going to put this in there. Butler and Johnson were indeed accessories. They did help him do the dry run on the life of Minister Malcolm. So they didn't just pick them up. There were an amount of people that they used to make this plot plausible. And so they got them to circumstantially. And they couldn't deny it. They couldn't deny it. Excuse me. So they were accessories to a murder, accessory to the organization of the assassination. So Butler and Johnson were indeed accessories. And that's very plain. I want to make that plain to the assassination of Minister Malcolm X. And we're going to discuss that, what it means to be an accessory to assassination or an accessory to murder. We're going to talk about that. And because here it is in a nutshell. What they couldn't do was convict him on pure circumstantial evidence. They couldn't just convict him on circumstantial evidence. Because when you talk murder, you're talking a total different law. And this is important for us to understand. So I wanted to say that because these comments were in there right away, and I appreciate the brother for putting them in. Appreciate them for him for putting that in. Now, I do aim to show it, and I'm going to have the Freedom of Information Act for that. Freedom of Information. Now, they were FOI as well, and it was the FOI that was later being convicted to have played a part in a government assassination relating to Minister Malcolm X. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. And the main thing is to get the information and to hear. What the brother said was they were not there at the time of the murder. He didn't say that they wasn't key components in helping to plan the assassination because they were a part of the dry run at the Audubon Ballroom. And that's record. You can pull it up. Freedom of Information Act, and pull it up and find that they did indeed do that. And the understanding was that they would not be there because they would only have them to, in so many instances, court Minister Malcolm in his present how do we put this, in his present position in the Organization for African American Unity. So let me court him to find out what's going on. So in a sense, they came in and working as agents to understand the whole setup of the Audubon Ballroom, to understand the habits of Minister Malcolm, to give them insight on the security. And I tell you what, Gene Roberts, who was a FBI CIA informant, also did the very same thing. So did Gordon Parks. Also did the very same thing. So this is important to know. Also, Dick Gregory, and Minister Malcolm even said earlier on that he didn't trust Dick Gregory. Well, when Malcolm embraced the civil rights movement, Dick Gregory worked along with him and spent a considerable amount of time with him, speaking with him. And then when he was organizing Organization for Afro-American Unity, Dick Gregory would visit him as well. So we're going to talk about that. But greetings, Brother Kareem. I appreciate you. Appreciate you putting that information out. Greetings, Brother Kenneth Muhammad. Appreciate you, brother, for joining us tonight. And greetings, Sister Donna. Greetings. Always happy to see you. And our Sister D, we're praying that we see her on. You all are the pillars that help hold up this show. And I'm thankful for you and everyone else that come on. I'm thankful for you all. But these are the ones that started out with us when we only had 3 watching the show. So I'm definitely thank God for you all. And my prayer and my desire is that the rest of them will have the same history that we have, because this is a very important show, and it's giving history about what we're going through as a people. It's giving the history. So we're gonna get our theme music going on. You know we gotta have our theme music. We're gonna get that going on, and we're gonna, be blasting over, talking over, and everything, because we definitely need our Aretha Franklin playing with us, brothers and sisters. That's no mistake. That's our theme music. So, but this is very good. I appreciate Brother Kareem, Bruce Kareem, for putting that out, because that's very important. And you can get the Freedom of Information Act and find the very same thing that I'm saying. So you'll know it's true. And I would tell anybody, don't just take anybody's word for it. Certainly let them show you receipts and show them where to find it. Show them where to find it. Also, I have you to know that Sister Betty X. Shabazz also gives enlightenment on the issue, and she knows for sure that they were a part of it. They were not there when it happened. They were not there when it happened. In other words, they didn't pull the trigger. But and same as the federal government would ask, just like they knew, because they did know. There's no way that they didn't know. The question was, why are you not there? Isn't it strange for you to be security and not be there? That was the question. You are his security, so why aren't you there? And that is suspect. That's very suspect. So we have to be honest with ourselves to say that some of the best penetration that can happen within any movement is the people from within. I'm sure you would agree, brothers and sisters, that is the best penetration that can happen is from the people from within. So we're going to give our other brothers and sisters time enough to make it in, because there were those that said that they definitely wanted to come, and that we were starting at an area where they may have been working, or they had something else planned and they weren't able to make it. So I want to make sure that everybody is able to make it. I don't want anybody that's not able to make it. I don't want to be the reason that they will miss such a great show, because this show is a great show. It's a powerful show. And we give a lot of truth that should be out, truth that should be listened to. We give it. We give that truth because we want them to have it. And we know they need it. We need the truth in this day and time. Why am I doing this, brothers and sisters? We're building a mighty army. We're building a mighty, mighty, mighty army. And as we build this army, we're going to have to know, which is important, we're going to have to know who we can trust amongst our own people. And that trust is a big word, because you can't trust everybody. You can't, just because they're black, don't mean you can trust them. This is the reason why our brother was killed. The fact that he couldn't trust one that he was raising. Isn't that right, brothers and sisters? He was raising somebody, but he couldn't trust him. Farrakhan betrayed Minister Malcolm. Farrakhan helped create the climate for the death of Minister Malcolm. He did that. So he couldn't be trusted. He couldn't trust him. So I don't want anybody to miss this at all, because it's very, very, very important. This is very important. I also want to say, while our theme is coming, I get a chance to talk to you a little bit before I get down into the nitty gritty. I also want to say that Sister Betty's testimony is not even taken. You hear, and this is the bad thing, which lets you know the government was involved. It lets you know that the government was indeed involved, because they don't even take anything from Sister Betty. They don't. Sister Betty has a massive amount of knowledge, that she introduced that was not used, brothers and sisters. And we have to look at that. We got to look at it. That is suspicious. Very suspicious activity from our government. That the wife of our brother had some sensitive information, and this information wasn't used. They're suspect. They're very suspect. So we're gonna be talking about that too, because here is somebody that helped Minister Malcolm in the planning stages for the move. When he's forced out of the nation, because he didn't get out, he was forced out. And he was forced out basically on instigation and a lie. He was forced out. If it's not so strong, brothers and sisters, a signal, I'm trying to get it off of my phone. We're still trying to tackle this thing. We need to make sure our internet is up again and all of that. So I'm hoping, I'm praying that it's such a strong, strong signal. And, we got to get our own, stuff. We got to get our own radio towers and all that. Because this, we using the devil's instrument. Isn't that right? And he's going to say, when we can say no more, he's going to pull the plug on us. He's going to say how, when, where, and why, and what. And if we're doing it ourselves, we won't have to worry about dealing with him as we do anything. So this is the reason why we need your support. This is the reason why we have a space. I pray to Allah that we don't lose it. Brothers and sisters, I mean that. That's why we need your support. We ask you to buy books and things like that and to contribute, because we have programs going on, literal programs going on. And I want you to know that we do extracurricular jobs. outside of seeing patients, we take on other jobs and do other things and push out our products and everything. So we're not lazy. We're not begging. That's what I want to tell you, but we'll give you something for it. Also, those of you that had sent cash apps earlier, please, sir and ma'am, go on the link, the support link, and you'll see my email on that support link. You'll see my email. And email me. And you'll see the number down there. You can contact me too. And email me and let me know what book you want. I want to make sure that you get it. Whatever book that you want, if you made a donation, I don't care how small or how great, I want to make sure that you have it. At least one book. If you purchase book, we'll give you the best deal so you can get 2 or 3 books. But if you've donated anything and you want a book, you go on that link and you tell me what book you want, and we'll give you a book. We'll definitely give you a book. So we're still waiting on those others to show up. I believe they may have shown up. They haven't shown their faces yet. But they may have shown up. But that's why we like to have the theme music playing, so that they'll be able to come in, jump on in, or that you won't just have a dead spaces. We're waiting on everyone else. Besides, it's a nice music to listen to, and it goes in with what we're talking about: our freedom, our liberation, our justice. Isn't that right? And our Islam. Okay, definitely. Let's do that. Definitely. How's that, brother? Greetings. Brother Martell, greetings. Glad to have you with us. Definitely. And this is going to be a very, very, very good show. Very good show. We're going to talk about the particulars. And I also want to say, if there are any of you that have something to say or something to add, please put it in the comments. Greetings, brother McCoy. If there's anything that you have to say, put it in the comments. And Brother McCoy, is that music? Is it at a good level now? Is that at a decent level? So that you can hear what I'm saying? I want to make sure that everybody get a chance to hear it. And I thank you all, because I need you all to help me tweak this thing. Don't forget the thumbs up. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And guess what? Hit that bell. Make sure you hit that bell so that you'll know when we come through. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. But definitely. We want you to like, subscribe, thumbs up or thumbs down. Thumbs up or thumbs down. I tell people, look, all of it makes a big difference. But I want you to be strong enough, brothers and sisters, to disagree, because we can better help one another when we're discussing something, having a fireside chat. We have more understanding of what's going on, and a deeper understanding amongst one another, because somebody may ask a question and the other person may be a little bit confused, or may want to ask that question to get the answer. And we're not know-it-alls. We're learning together. You and I, we're learning together. So I could say something and may make a mistake. May mean to say something and say something else. So that's the reason I say, each one teach one, each one reach one, and iron sharpens iron. So it takes all of us, right? It takes all of us. But I've been studying this for better than 20 years. I was 12 years old the first time I picked up the assassination of Mr. Malcolm X, and this was in 1987. The first time I heard about the assassination of any leader, such as Minister Malcolm and Dr. King, I was about 9 years old. So I've had some time to look over this and read different books. and understand those books and research those books all on my own little self. So that's why when I met the Honorable Dr. Khalid Muhammad, powerful doctor, general, the black general, when I met him in Tunica, Mississippi, and met Sister Ella Little Collins, and oh man, I met Alex Haley. A lot of people there commemorating Minister Malcolm's day, and this was at an old Elijah Muhammad Mosque. So I want you to know that. I want you to know that. I say that because I want you to also know that it wasn't Elijah Muhammad that called for the death of Minister Malcolm. As a matter of fact, he told them, excuse me, brothers and sisters, he told them to leave Minister Malcolm alone. And Minister Farrakhan admits this. Not only does he admit it, other Muslims admit it. So he didn't have a choice but to come out with that truth, because before that, the FBI and CIA were trying to say that Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had set up and had Minister Malcolm killed. Brothers and sisters, it doesn't make sense with the math. Not only that, but Sister Betty never included the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in that. They said Elijah Muhammad Jr. Elijah Muhammad Jr. You have to know that. You have to go back and listen to it and know it. And so Minister Malcolm, the one thing that was kept from him, and the one thing that was kept from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, by advent of the CIA and the FBI and the agents they had working for him, i.e. Louis Farrakhan, i.e. Wallace Waradeen Muhammad, i.e. John Ali, the National Press Secretary, and the great photographer, Gordon Parks, who was dating that white woman, Gloria Vanderbilt, the train heiress. So you know he was a coon. It was them that said they collaborated in the act, right? Behind the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They collaborated in the act. This comes out. Also in the investigation, it comes out in the FOIA, which is the Freedom of Information Act, and all of that. So I say these things because I want you to understand the truth. The whole purpose of the incident was to get Minister Malcolm out of the way so they could get in control of the organization that Mr. Muhammad had organized and created with the teaching of Master Farad Muhammad. Now, how else could they do that? They weren't going to do it through Wallace, because Wallace Muhammad was going with an international Islam based on the Sunni teachings. Now, so who else could they do it through? Louis Farrakhan, because he was fascinated, right, with the Nation of Islam teaching. He hasn't been in very long, and he wanted to state a place for himself. He wanted to make a name for himself, and this is noted by many Muslims, and how he was behind Minister Malcolm's back, talking about him, backstabbing him, and when he thought he had enough converted to his way of thinking, then he began to speak openly to Minister Malcolm, and before Minister Malcolm, and to the journal paper, Muhammad Speaks, he began to speak openly what he felt, what he had spoken in secret. So, and Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had cautioned Minister Malcolm earlier on that these things that you created, pipe clubs that you created, and this action, this reactionary that you created, you're going to deal with that. This is something that you're going to have to deal with. And again, Minister Farrakhan was under Minister Malcolm. So Minister Malcolm was the standard. And so he was reaping what he sowed. When Mr. Muhammad said these things, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he's actually telling the truth. He had warned Minister Malcolm, and he said he was a victim of what? Of the things that he had said. And we have to accept that. He had an idea of an army, yes. But he had a certain understanding of that army and how that army would respond and act. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad did. Minister Malcolm had trained the army in an extreme sense. And we can understand that because he would need an extreme army being in that organization. So we can definitely understand that. But my point is that there is a repercussion and there are circumstances, right, and consequences to everything that we do, whether it be good or bad. Whether it be good or bad. So this is what they use. Hungry brothers that wanted position, that loved money, right? Because Mr. Muhammad had built up a very economic organization. It was self-sufficient. But these brothers wanted money. So what happened? They went and got the money, right? Didn't want to turn it go. Did not want to turn it loose or turn it go, as old folks say. And so they were enjoying this, their petty position for power. They was enjoying this little petty cash, right? Like Common say, not being petty, but got petty cash. So they was enjoying this money. It's almost like a drug dealer, right? When a minister is gone bad, he's almost like a drug dealer and a pimp in a sense, because he starts to pimp the money and deal truth. Isn't that right? For profit and gain. Isn't that right, brothers and sisters? So this is what we were dealing with. We are dealing with this. That's what he was dealing with. So I just want to explain that. That's very intricate. It's very intricate, and you can find this in Freedom of Information Act. Sister Betty Shabazz, the same paperwork that she issued to me in 1986, 1988, and we talked about it, discussed it again in 1995. It was a 45-page document explaining all of this. It was, you had all these individuals in there, and what you gave me, you could easily download. At that time, they had it on a microfiche, but you could easily download it. It wasn't anything that wasn't already up there. But Minister Malcolm had submitted the names, and Sister Betty had submitted all the information that she knew from Muslims that she was familiar with. Minister Farrakhan was one of the ones she pointed out. Again, Wallace Warradeem Muhammad, National Press Secretary John Ali, and others that were not in the movement, the Muslim movement, but it was still in the company of Minister Malcolm, such as Dick Gregory, which Minister Malcolm did not trust at all. He had no confidence in him. He was very good at reading people, so he had no confidence in that individual. So what I want you to understand is that these things that is happening is by no coincidence. It didn't just drop out of the air. That's not how it happened. But these things were happening because people had to learn, in so many instances, how to do this evil. There was a lot of plotting going on, and they had a lot of help from the federal government. They had a whole lot of help from the federal government. That goes without saying. So go without saying. So when we look at the plot, we can't just look at the individuals. We can't just look at them. We have to look at the entire plot of what was going on. Now, I do say, and I have said, that all of them was involved, and I stand by that. I stand by that claim. I stand by it because the FOIA bags it up that they were in the planning to help do the dry run. They were on the inside, the planning to do the dry run on Minister Malcolm's life. And I'm trying to find all the things I can say to answer our brother's question, because those are very good statements. And I think all the intricate details makes a big difference, because if not, they'll have you thinking that, that Talmadge Hare just blamed them and then they became the fall guys. Brothers and sisters, it doesn't work like that. If you just imagine that it's drugs, they were dealing religion, but just imagine that it was drugs. If you got somebody dealing drugs, and here's somebody that they may not be dealing drugs, but they've given them a safe house to be in, right? And these people that create this safe house is praiseworthy. I hope you're understanding me. because that's what the situation was. Butler and Johnson wasn't directly involved, no, in the killing, but they were indirectly involved because they showed them the Audubon Ballroom. Gene Roberts speaks about this himself. And he comes back in later years to make peace with one of Minister Malcolm's top aides. He made peace with him. That aide had not had the knowledge that they have today. But he did know that they weren't there. And he says it. He said, I can tell you just as sure they're green apples, that they were not there. And that's right. But they were in the planning stages. Prior to it, they were in the dry run. They met in Newark, New Jersey to discuss the killing of Minister Malcolm. So this is true. It wasn't the fact that they had gotten the wrong men. These men were accessories to the death of Minister Malcolm X. They were guilty. But the government had to cover it up because they helped the government to plan it. Then it was the federal government that arrested them anyway to keep them quiet because they didn't trust them. So from 1965 to 1985, which is 20 years, these men had did time. Not only that, they received money. And that was a whole plot. All of this was understood before they even went in. They received money. Okay? It's very important for you to know. Because a lot of people don't know it. Their family was taken care of. As a matter of fact, one of the guys, when he got out, and all you have to do is check this. I believe it was Johnson. I believe it was Johnson. It may have been Johnson. If not one of them, Butler or Johnson. Matter of fact, it may have been Butler. But Butler goes on to keep his post under Minister Louis Farrakhan. He go on to keep his post as a minister over the temple under Minister Louis Farrakhan when he gets out of prison. Are you hearing me? I want to know if y'all hear that. I want to know if y'all hear that. That, don't you think that this is suspect for him to do such a thing? Don't you think that that's suspect? I do. I think it's suspect. Because why? If this is a lie, and somebody could have bailed you out, especially in the nation, why would you go back to rejoin the nation? I don't understand that. Don't understand it at all. So Butler goes on to if it was Butler, I believe it was. Butler goes on to keep his post at the Nation of Islam. He goes to keep his post. Johnson is angry for having to serve the time after planning it. And when he gets out, you meet a generation in the 90s. Isn't that right? You meet a generation in the 80s and 90s because they did, I believe it was 25 years, 20 to 25. You meet a generation in the 90s that is, man, they X. We were Generation X. We were Malcolm X bound and Malcolm X down. And when we read about what they did, we were upset. We were upset enough. Matter of fact, the climate was so charged when the children understood exactly what was happening. The climate was so charged that Minister Farrakhan would often come out defending himself and blaming the white man, saying, hey, they're going to try to get you all to kill Farrakhan because he had something to do with Minister Malcolm's death. That's a fact. So his conscience was high because you met a generation that was high on Minister Malcolm, to the point that that generation wouldn't drink, wouldn't smoke. A lot of them would not do it. From 85 to 95, it started to get strong. After that, they pushed in another drug culture with this cocaine-laced marijuana to calm down our culture. because we were so energetic and so charged with this black nationalism. This is how Dr. Khalid Muhammad is able to come on the scene. He is what we have been waiting for, because he was our second look at Minister Malcolm X. He was our second look. And when you look back, in the 90s was one of the more powerful times for a hip-hop generation, where we were constantly rapping and speeding out knowledge and everything. And then Tupac Shakur came up on the scene. Isn't that right? Tupac Shakur. Then we started learning about the consciousness of Assata Shakur. Started to relearn about the Black Panther Party and all of that. So it was Brother Huey, we said it before, was assassinated in 1989, in August 1989. The new Black Panther Party, right, was established by an agent named was it Michael or was it Aaron? Excuse me, Aaron McCarthy. Aaron McCarthy had started the new Black Panther Party, but he was an agent, because this same Aaron McCarthy, or what they call Aaron Michaels, later began to work with the NSA, right, that protect aliens from coming inside of America, arresting them and all of that. So we found out that he was a police officer and a bounty hunter. And this same Aaron Michaels is trying to run another branch of the new Black Panther Party, and you'll find out that Malik Zulu Shabazz is always defending him for having these government jobs. And this is very important, that he defend them for having these government jobs. And if you fighting the government, you can't work the jobs. I like what our brother, peace to you, LD, our brother said, public enemy and poor righteous teachers. That's right. That's right. We were in the place where we could receive this. We were in the place that we could receive this, and it was a powerful time. It was a powerful time, brothers and sisters. To have lived in that time, I was thankful to be there and to have lived in that time, because they were spitting out this true knowledge. There was a reignition, and it came with a vengeance, a reignition of black power that came with a mighty, mighty vengeance, a mighty vengeance. And brothers and sisters were ready to do God's will, put out that knowledge, and we had righteous teachers. They were poor, but they were righteous. Right? You had Public Enemy fight the power. Who? Public Enemy connects directly with Dr. Khalid. Right? Fable Flav. What's the sellout? Professor Griff. That was the sellout there. He was working for the government. Chuck D. Chuck D was truth to power. Yeah, it was heavy. It was a heavy time. It was a heavy time. And Chuck D was with Dr. Khalid, but and sold out later, because Flav liked them white women. You already know that. But Chuck D stuck with Dr. Khalid. But Flav and Professor Griff turned against Dr. Khalid. They turned against him. And when we look back now, you see them today, and you look back, you could also understand, that they weren't strong. They had a knowledge out. But they weren't strong. And it was trying to pull it up. It was our attention to the times. Our attention to the times that made us embrace them. And who was with them? We had somebody close to our age, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, who had embraced this culture. He didn't run from it. He spoke what we felt the same way that Minister Malcolm spoke what the individuals felt in his day, those of his generation. Because, brothers and sisters, regardless of popular belief, Minister Malcolm was only 39 when he passed. That's comparatively young to become a national leader. And you have to deduct 13 years. You deduct that 13 years. Find out that Minister Malcolm comes on the scene. He's 25, 26, 27, somewhere around there. But he's already working in prison. He's already studying, already getting on debate team, debating Harvard and Princeton and all of these powerful colleges. Minister Malcolm is on the job. Minister Malcolm is on the job. So, I mean, Khalid was that to us. He was Minister Malcolm times 10 to us that was putting out this information because he was on the job. When Farrakhan praised the killers of Minister Malcolm within a Nation of Islam in 1965, you had Muslims that may have, some of them that may have accepted it, but the majority of the Muslims hated Farrakhan for that because Malcolm understood them and spoke from his heart what he felt. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was, according to reports, was devastated himself. But for the sake of saving the nation and those fanatics, because there are fanatics in every religion that you have. Those fanatics that were numerous, he had to save the nation. Isn't that right? When he met in Chicago after the death of Minister Malcolm, brothers and sisters, see, you got to research this entire thing. They met in Chicago after the death of Minister Malcolm. He only had half a house. He only had half a house. It was, thousands of Muslims that were at home. Thousands of Muslims that didn't come. Thousands that did not come. And there was a high disagreement with the things that Minister Farrakhan had done, including with a high disagreement and with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad did not agree with Minister Farrakhan with what he done. He told them to leave Minister Malcolm alone. These were orders that were given. Farrakhan has to admit this himself. He has to. On the interview with him and Adela Shabazz, the eldest daughter of Minister Malcolm and Sister Betty X, on Mike Wallace 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes. Farrakhan has to admit this. And he said that there were people that were jealous. He tried to say that he himself wasn't jealous, but Farrakhan was jealous too. Many Muslims say that he's a liar, that he was jealous. He was fighting for Minister Malcolm's position. And he went to Mr. Muhammad for the position. Mr. Muhammad gave him a post. You see that he's moved to start speaking at Temple number 7 in New York. But he doesn't place him there for long. And he doesn't have the following that he needs, because when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad turns it over, he turns it over to Wallace Waradeen Muhammad, which was the instruction to create a type of, how can we say it, dynasty or lineage. To create a type of dynasty or lineage, he turns it over. And I want to give you a full understanding of this. A full understanding of this. So, our brother is right. Brother Kareem said, excellent program, brother. Butler was released in 85. He came to Masjid, Malcolm Shabazz. That's true. Our brother said where he met him, He stayed there for a while. He was working as a social worker, and he went to Farrakhan in the 90s. This is true. This is true, brother, and I appreciate you for backing me up on that. Also, our brother LD. And this knowledge, brothers and sisters, you can find this knowledge. This knowledge, you can find it. And this is why we want things said in the comment section so you can learn. When you come here, brothers and sisters, we're taking you to school. We're not going to be talking about all this foolish stuff. We're not going to be at somebody, how the brothers come in and try to disrupt the show or anything like that. No. If there's something that you have that is worth our brothers and sisters hearing because they're taking out their time to come on the show too, then please, brothers and sisters, say something. Because this is not about Minister Farrakhan. This is about the Nation of Islam, and this is about black nationalism with black people, and we got stuff happening today to us, and we have to know that we can't turn to these agents that the white man has out here. That's the reason why you and I are being taught today on this show. Notice I said the reason why you and I are being taught today on this show. I said you and I because each one teach one and reach one, and we can bag each other up on it. Our brother LD said that Farrakhan's action drove away the minister Muhammad Ali as well. This is true. Muhammad Ali understands that the setup is happening, and he himself apologized for the lies that he had received about Minister Malcolm X. And this is the truth that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad told Muhammad Ali the truth about what was going on when he questioned it. He told him the truth. So Muhammad Ali was very repentant in 74 and 75. He was repentant to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said he would not follow Wallace Waradeen Muhammad nor Minister Louis Farrakhan because of their actions concerning the death of Minister Malcolm X. These are all facts. These are all facts. So the action did drive him away, and he was devastated at his friend's murder. He was upset with Minister Malcolm, but he loved Minister Malcolm. Muhammad Ali loved Minister Malcolm. And not only that, Muhammad Ali contributed to Sister Betty X Shabazz. I say this, Louis Farrakhan never did. He never contributed, never put his arms around the family. Muhammad Ali did. And he took more boxing engagements so he would be able to be certain that he would donate enough money and keep company with Sister Betty and the kids through this awesome ordeal. So Ali was true to his word. He was truly the greatest because he loved the most. He did love his people. And he was confident in his black pride. This is the truth, brothers and sisters. So this is something that a lot of individuals will not discuss. They won't do it. And here's the bad thing about it. You're not holding loyal to anyone that will betray or have another brother or sister killed. This is not somebody that you want leading you, brothers and sisters. This is not somebody that you want leading you. If you have Minister Malcolm killed, he'll kill Minister Nuri. He'll kill Minister Wesley. He'll kill his own son, Mustafa. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. A murderer is a murderer is a murderer is a murderer. He doesn't care. He'll set up the climate for any of them to save his own skin. I don't care if it's his own brother. I don't care if it's his own brother. He would do it. This is Farrakhan. You're seeing Minister Farrakhan in the fullness of time. You've never worked for Mr. Farrakhan or under Minister Farrakhan, so you don't know how he responds. I was there when Dr. Khalid worked under him, and I saw how much he envied the attention through nonverbal behavior, brothers and sisters. How he envied the attention that Dr. Khalid was getting. This is true. And Dr. Khalid again spoke to a generation that was tired of sellouts, turncoats, black necks, black chocolate covered crackers. They were tired of people being hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. We were tired of it. We wanted to see somebody speak truth to power, and we wanted to fight the power that be. That's a fact, brothers and sisters. Public Enemy said, fight the power. And they were telling the truth. That's why I love my brother Chuck D. They couldn't get him to turn. Professor Griff couldn't turn him. Professor Griff, you go online and see how he talked about Dr. Khalid. Now he wants to embrace Farrakhan. Wherever the wind blows, he'll do it. Wherever the wind blows, he'll do it. That's Professor Griff. When we were in Texas. Makai X did that killing in Texas. He shot the police. Allegedly. He shot the police allegedly. And which he was really defending his life. He was fighting in self-defense. And Professor Griff had taken pictures with him. All of us knew Makai X. That's right, Professor Griff of Public Enemy had taken pictures with him too. All of us knew Makai X. Yes, he did come to all of my speeches. Yes, he did help in my organization. And he was a member in the organization. Yes, he was. I didn't see anything wrong with what he was saying or talking about. They wanted me to say that I didn't befriend him. He was my friend. He was my friend. He wasn't under any orders to do anything. The brother was an army of one, and he had some business that he wanted to take care of. He had already said that online. So when he went and allegedly fought these police with weapons that were coming to, he had found out that these police were coming to the demonstration to attack us the same way that Kyle Rittenhouse would have killed black people, right? And whites that were at that organization. The same way that these young white trashy crackers are going inside of the stores, killing us like they did in Buffalo, New York, which is the latest killing out of about 400 other killings this year. How Dylan Roof walked in the church and killed those people there. They were taking opportunities to kill us. This was one of the occasions where they were going to allow white crackers to come in and kill us. We couldn't depend on the black police officers. So when this brother found out about it, he's like, look, this is not happening on my watch. This is not happening on my watch. Some of the police on their Facebooks that were later erased were going to make a move on innocent children, women, men, and children. They were going to make this or rather sabotage this protest. The brother found out about it and he wanted to do something about it. Now, he did what he had to do. He did what he had to do, right or wrong. If somebody's coming to kill you and you defend yourself, you're not being a vigilante, you're defending your life. These police were coming to hurt our brother. Plain and simple. They were coming to hurt him. He defended his life. There's no evil in that. And they wanted me to disassociate myself from him. I said, Makai X is my friend. This is my friend, my brother. I don't have any opinion about him except that he's my friend and my brother. He's my friend and my brother. I didn't know anything about his evolution or anything like that. But I'm not going to deny that he was my friend and my brother. He was. But when that action happened, I wasn't there. But yes, he was my friend and my brother. Professor Griff went to, I don't know him. He said he don't know him. He said he don't endorse killing police. Hell, who endorsed any kind of killing? Who endorses any kind of killing? We endorse self-defense. He's like, I don't know him. He's scrambling. He's scared. And in the light of it, they put up a picture. You see him and Professor Griff after Mackay X, who had attended my lecture, had some words to say. You see him and Professor Griff shaking hands. And he's giving a Black Power salute. Peace and greetings, only me. Peace and greetings. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. So here's the thing. You can't be a nationalist when it benefits you. If you know that these devils is killing us and that our lives are in danger, we have the right to self-defense. That's the Constitution. Look, the man said that we're free. That's what he says. Greetings, Brother Ty. Peace. The man says that we're free. That's what he says. He says that we're free. So if we're free, we exercise our Second Amendment rights. If we're free, he says we're free. That's what he says. Now, I don't believe him. I don't believe him. Peace be unto you, Apple brother. I don't believe him. The white man say we're free, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But that's what he says. He says that we're free. Now, we're free as long as we don't defend ourselves and these crackers are around killing us. So let's go back. Because this show is talking about Minister Farrakhan praising the killers of Minister Malcolm. You had the first killers, Johnson and Butler, as our brother Kareem pointed out to us. They did 25 years. That's right. Well, 20 years. They did. It was 20 to 25 years, but they did 20 years. They got out in 1985. Now, Farrakhan praised them and made a position for the brothers if they wanted to come back. Butler felt that he was going back. He did go back. He went back. They had gotten some money. They weren't hurting when they got out, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, this is a chess game. Not checkers, this is chess. And so they get out. Johnson, he's not going back because he don't think he should have been arrested. He didn't take part in, he wasn't directly involved in the killing of Minister Malcolm, so he don't believe he should have been arrested. So the first thing he does is say, hey man, I wasn't there. And he hangs on that. He doesn't say it when he's first arrested because the federal government was supposed to put him in jail and let him out. If you look at James Best, because there's only been one killer that was arrested for the shooting of Minister Malcolm, but this brother and the other two that helped him, because there were 3 shooters in front of Minister Malcolm, they all had blanks. You don't hear me, do you, brothers and sisters? Let me be plain. The federal government didn't even trust that they would do the job that they needed to do to Minister Malcolm. So when Minister Malcolm was killed, you'll see that the bullet angles were going down in his chest at an angle. You can't do that from the floor. You have to do that from the ceiling. They were shooting him at a downward angle as the brothers were shooting him, right? And they had a timetable to do it, right? When these brothers were shooting blanks at Minister Malcolm that can pierce the skin, they could also kill you at close range. The federal government was shooting with a down angle into the chest of Minister Malcolm. You could also find that in the Freedom of Information Act. So the government was complicit in the killing. They didn't even trust Muslims to do the job because Minister Malcolm's teaching was that thorough. His faith in the Muslim movement was that thorough. And I say again, he was on his way back into the Nation of Islam. He announced it December 1964, announced it again, and gave Mr. Muhammad praise in February the 14th, 1965. After he was leaving Detroit, and also from leaving to the house, the Shrine of the Black Madonna, which was pastor and founder was Albert B. Cleage. We're going to talk about Cleage so you'll know who he is. So you need to be looking him up because we're going to be in school on this marathon. We got to get through this marathon, brothers and sisters. And you're going to be thankful that you went through it because you're going to know more than anyone else knows who have been talking about this Malcolm X thing. And you're going to have a show that you can go to that points to facts and will show them where to find the facts. Not only that, but if you buy the book, Who Killed Minister Malcolm X 1 and 2, that I've written, I can send it to you by PDF so you can get it right in your email. As soon as you cash out me, you can get it right in your email. But when you get these two books, it will tell you these things. Also explain the death of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who was poisoned through cortisone. Minister Farrakhan admits that he was poisoned. He can't deny that. See, that's how you know. See, these devils, I'm telling you something. These devils that have demons doing the work for them, right? They give these demons so much money. Farrakhan is a demon, a low-down, dirty snake in the grass. They give them so much money until they think that they're above reproach. Farrakhan don't like anyone questioning him about anything, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you, this is a fact. He don't like anyone questioning him. So when Dr. Khalid began to question, when Dr. Khalid began to put the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching on him, telling them stop hanging out with these white folks, stop calling a Father Flaker a pedophile and Roman Catholic priest your friend. When Dr. Khalid began to question him about these things concerning Minister Malcolm to get clarity, brother, it's like Farrakhan, like he didn't like that. You know, he didn't think Dr. Khalid should have been even questioning him. You don't hear me. You don't hear me. These are facts, brothers and sisters. These are facts. And so what does he do? I got to get rid of Dr. Khalid. You don't hear me. James Best, the same man that had was part of the assault team to kill Minister Malcolm, and he did it. They flew James Best from California in 1965, 2 weeks prior to the assassination of Minister Malcolm X. He flew back to California, then they brought him back because they had to case out the area, right? The federal government had him to do that. This same James Best, you got to research James Best, brothers and sisters. He didn't just come on the scene when he shot Dr. Khalid Muhammad in 1994. James Best was in the Nation of Islam. He was an extremist that followed Farrakhan, who was going around behind Minister Malcolm's back trying to build up his own following, because that was part of his job, his assignment as an agent, because he wanted Malcolm X's position. He wanted to be the one that would succeed. They didn't want Minister Malcolm. They didn't want him to be there. Why? Because of the old man passed, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he extended the olive branch to that young Minister Malcolm, who was only, at the time that Mr. Muhammad began to get sick, Minister Malcolm was only 31 years old at the time. Minister Malcolm was going to do some serious house cleaning, and he was going to get on the behinds of the money changers. These are those that love money. You understand, brothers and sisters? So this thing is real. So let's get rid of Minister Malcolm. Let's get rid of him. The dream of coming, right? The dream of coming. Let's get rid of him and we'll destroy his dream. Right? The visionary coming, let's get rid of him and we'll destroy his vision. So the FBI and CIA put a kill button on it Two things. They put the kill button on Minister Malcolm when he met Martin Luther King in 1964. They were face to face. They had a slight discussion. And then after that, you see Minister Malcolm going to bag Martin Luther King up with security, for one thing. And then also, he's bagging him up in nationalism. The white man didn't want to see that. He feared that. This is not something that he wanted to see. And the other kill button was when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had gotten sick. So they figured, right, when they were talking against Minister Malcolm, they couldn't change his mind. And I'm trying to get that movie out of your mind. That movie warped you. I need to get that movie out of your mind. See, because that movie told you exactly what it wanted you to believe. And the white man sponsored it behind Spike Lee. I told you, what did I tell you? The formula for assassination. The formula and algorithm for assassination. First, the first thing you do is put people in front of black people that you want to be in front of them. Right? Those are the heir apparents. And in the same breath, you kill the one that is actually sent by God to influence the people to tell them what to do with guidance and perseverance. Do you understand what I'm saying? Before there could be a Louis Farrakhan, they had to move Minister Malcolm X. Before there could be a Louis Farrakhan, right, they had to move Dr. Khalid Muhammad. It's not until Dr. Khalid Muhammad is moved and demonized, right, and assassinated by character that Farrakhan could come out and be that Muslim, right, that America wanted him to be, to keep the wool over your eyes and keep the wool over my eyes. Because Dr. Khalid Muhammad was too radical, too black, and too nationalist in his perspective for black people, right, for the government to leave him in the Nation of Islam and to be there. Because remember, Minister Farrakhan had begun to get sick. He had to have his prostate checked as early as 95. And he began to get sick, and they couldn't leave Dr. Khalid there. They had to. They had invested too much money in Minister Farrakhan. So they couldn't leave Dr. Khalid Muhammad there. They couldn't leave Dr. Khalid. They couldn't leave him there. So they had to figure out a plan to disassociate Dr. Khalid and ultimately kill him. So in 1994, they tried the first assassination attempt that we know of. We saw commotion prior to that because this same James Best had caused commotion against Minister Khalid earlier, at least 4 different times. At least 4 other different times. And James Best even gave the plan to Minister Farrakhan because he said he didn't like Dr. Khalid talking that strongly against white people. This same James Best is a massive supporter and extremist for Farrakhan, and even today, even though Farrakhan pushed him out of the Muslim movement, we believe he pushed him out. He still keep him around. But you see this same James Best, brothers and sisters, who shot Dr. Khalid, never went to jail. He still upholds Minister Farrakhan in the church that, or the following that he's supposed to have in Seattle or Washington. He still upholds Minister Farrakhan. This is important to remember. He's still a fanatic for Minister Farrakhan. The same James Best that was a fanatic with Mr. Farrakhan in 1961 through 65 is the same one that continued to be a fanatic all the way up to the present day. Same one that shot Dr. Khalid. Never did a day in jail for killing Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Never did a day in jail for killing his own brother. His own brother. I believe it was his brother Elvin or Edwin. He killed his own brother. Never did a day in jail. He beat black people for not buying the paper Muhammad Speaks. In 1961 through 65, he never did a day in jail. The minute that they arraigned him, then after that, these same people, the minute they arraigned him After that, these same people had let him go. He had not did a day in jail. Not one day, brothers and sisters. Not one day in jail. And that's the thing that I want to tell you, is that there's a plot and ploy, and always have been, to take out black nationalist leaders that would truly lead black people into true liberation. There's always been a ploy to do this. Always been a ploy to do this. Always been a ploy to do this. Always. And so when you see this job being done, and somebody like Farrakhan, I want you to see how twisted and dark this is. That Farrakhan praised these killers, murderers. He praised killers and murderers for killing our brother. And this is the same person telling you and I to do for self, to love self, right? To tell stop doing gang violence, tell black people to stop killing each other. Yet, the same man has been killing black leaders ever since he got in the nation. He may have killed leaders before that. We just don't know. But one thing I do know is that he's been an agent the entire time. And if you look at him, he has literally diminished the Nation of Islam under his teaching. Because you still got Nation of Islam that are powerful under the lost and found Nation of Islam, that are true followers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, like myself, that is going to be on point, is going to be holding post until the day of the day that we can't hold it anymore, until we leave this place. We're going to hold the post, and we're going to educate the people on the true teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But Farrakhan has diminished the Muslims under him from being a military structured force down into rose pickers, holding hands with these white men and women and skipping through the days and singing lullabies. It's a shame. Don't forget the thumbs up. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And do hit the bell, brothers and sisters. So it's a shame, brothers and sisters. What we're dealing with is a shame. And I'm not going to hold you long today, but those are some things that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to tell you that. Now, the last thing I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, is that this is ironic. We have to pay attention to it. Farrakhan praised all the killers that killed Minister Malcolm. Now, when these brothers that had misguided brothers, that were part of the other killing of Minister Malcolm, the other ones that were involved that they didn't tell you about, that are just being released, brothers and sisters, I hope you're hearing me, because all we know about was Talmadge, Hare, Butler, and Johnson. Isn't that right? But they had some others. It gets, the deeper you dig, the darker it gets, brothers and sisters. These others were released, right? Isn't that right? These others were released. When they get released, our sister, the daughter of Minister Malcolm, ends up dead. How ironic. How ironic. How ironic. In between the time of the first release and the second release, Minister Malcolm's son, or rather grandson, ended up dead. How ironic. How ironic. brothers and sisters, this young brother spoke very highly about the lost and found nation of Islam. But he didn't like Farrakhan's version of the Nation of Islam. And he didn't like Farrakhan at all. And don't you know, if Sister Betty raised her grandson, that she was going to give him 100% truth about what happened, because he was an heir, or the heir, to the family of Minister Malcolm X, a male heir. Brothers and sisters, don't that sound like the coming of the Messiah? Oh my God. Brothers and sisters, this thing is heavy. This thing is heavy. This thing is heavy. During the time of Jesus, you had the same thing to happen, brothers and sisters. Herod was a Jew. But Herod helped the white power of his day, who were Israelites, that were nationalistic Israelites that really didn't have a part of the place that they were in. They were Greeks and Romans calling themselves Israelites. The same way you got white folks calling themselves Israelites, right over in Palestine and don't belong, create a state of Israel. Well, let's jump on this side for a second. Jesus, a black man, came preaching nationalism. Isn't that right? Who said, if I do these things, you'll do greater things. He healed the sick. He raised the dead, gave sight to the blind, made the dumb talk, right? Made the deaf hear. He did these things. Is that right or wrong? Well, you're being prepared. And they don't tell you about Mary, but Jesus' mother, Mary, is the one that was preparing him. Isn't that right? That was her job, to teach him his job in the world, or what he was coming into. Sister Betty was teaching our young Malcolm Shabazz, who was rising at such a speed. There was no doubt that he was to embrace our community. And also, the knowledge and the appreciation he had for Dr. Khalid Muhammad, who for all intents and purposes was the Messiah of black nationalism, to take us from that stage as black Muslim ministers, as black Muslimas, as black nationalists, or people of black power, take us to the next stage of where we ought to be. That's what I'm telling you. When we think of the Messiah, you can't think of one person. That's the white man's trick. But for every generation that is messianic, that's us. Messianic means being called out. Then there are messiahs in all of those dispensations or generations that will lead us to the same place. And our job is to support them, right? Support them with fealty, or to support them from start to finish, so they'll be able to fulfill their job and their destiny. Brother Kenneth said, I heard the minister say, it's nobody's business how we deal with traitors. This is true. This is true. When speaking about Brother Malcolm, not expressing condolences, but adding fuel to the fire. Brother, that is true. That is true. He says it on several occasions. He said it in Detroit. He said it in Newark. He said it in Boston. He said it in New York. He said these things. This is when Minister Khalid was questioning him. Dr. Khalid was questioning Minister Farrakhan because he saw it as hypocrisy. And he was questioning him on it as an Elijah Muslim. Dr. Khalid was an Elijah Muslim. There's a difference between an Elijah Muslim and a Farrakhan Muslim. There's a big difference. And we're going to talk about that even more so to explain it, because there is a big difference. Farrakhan Muslims will work with the federal government. They can be police officers, and they can marry white she-devils. This is a fact. This is a fact. And they see it as occupation. But we see it as infiltration. How can you work against the enemy? How can you fight against the enemy if you're working with the enemy? There's no way you can do it, brothers and sisters. This is suspect. And that's why we have to get the teachings out about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that's why we need your support. Because they're not going to support us And they'll be out of their mind to support us when we're going to point them out and point out who the devil is. So don't forget to like and subscribe, brothers and sisters. Don't forget to support our Cash App. I don't care if it's $5 or 50 cents. Put something on there. We thank you for it in advance. We're not begging, brothers and sisters, because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad set this type of system up, and he said you should be able to give your brother or sister something when you ask them for something. So we have a gift, and our gift is the books that we have online, and all you have to do is go to that support, go to it, and you'll be able to go on the link and see the books that you want. You'll be able to go on that link and see the books that you want. If you go to it, well, I have it pinned at the top of the chat, which says support the movement by purchasing a book or simply donating through Cash App, Liberation Group. And that's the Cash App is Liberation Group. And if you go on that site, you can tell me what book you want, and we'll get that book out to you by PDF. You'll have it in seconds. You will have it merely in seconds. We'll get it out to you. Brothers and sisters, so we can continue to keep this out. And I don't like mention anything concerning money, because I know that ministers have misused you. I know the politicians have misused you. You've even had brothers and sisters that misuse you. And I want you to know that that's something that we don't do. We have candy bars. If you donate $5, you can get a candy bar. And that's to support the movement. The sister helped design the wrappers on those candy bars. And so you can get that. You've seen them on the shows. If all you have to do is go back to the last show, and the candy bar is there. So we want you to know, brothers and sisters, we have something for you, and we're teaching the truth. And we want to be able to continue to teach this truth, and to continue to keep our office open. I'm a psychiatric clinician. The sister is a psychotherapist that works along with me. Not only that, but she's also a birth worker in the form of doula. She has practice. She also written a book for those that want to do home births. So, brothers and sisters, we're not begging. We're trying to give you something that will help you. But unfortunately, when we're standing out like this, we can't expect the white man to support us, because we're talking about him, and we know that he's the devil. And we know that he has black demons that he's using. So, brothers and sisters, we need your support, and you to tell someone else, to let them know, give them the word, tell them the word is out. And we hope to be at the Coleman Young Center in the first week of August. We hope to be there to have temple meeting there, and also give a lecture to let you know what's going on and what our plans are. And we pray, our desire and our prayer to get temple number 1 of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad reestablished there in Detroit, in Elijah Muslim and a temple of Elijah reestablished, and to move this heresy of the temples of Farrakhan out of the way, that you'll be able to go to a place where you're able to hear the truth. And we want you to have the truth. And not only that, but we're being invited around the country. But we believe that Detroit is the first place that we should go. But if you want us to come where you are, all you have to do is ask us. And we raise the money by coming on the show. And we'll be on the first team smoking to be able to get there. And we'll have the books to sell to you there, so you'll be able to get it directly. Some people like hard printouts. We'll be able to have hard printouts once we're there as well. So you'll be able to do that. So, brothers and sisters, we want to thank you for attending the show, and for listening to those tidbits that are very, very important. They're important, brothers and sisters. These tidbits are so very important, because you already know, if we don't get this word out, we're going to be in danger. Devils, turncoats, sellouts, that are getting our community in trouble, that are putting our children in danger. And we are docile, while the white man has already armed himself in this race war. That's why he's shooting us down no matter where we are. He's shooting us down. I'm telling you tonight that Farrakhan endorses this. Somebody's saying, how does he endorse it, Brother Minister? Well, he endorses it because he's not preparing us to arm ourselves to defend our community. If he did that, brothers and sisters, they wouldn't give him the money that they're giving him. He's paid and subsidized to mislead you and I. Oh, brothers and sisters, I wish you could see exactly what I see. I wish you could see it. And many of you, you see it, but it hurts you deep in your heart to be able to have to say that, because you know And I know that Farrakhan should be doing much better. And that there isn't enough money that someone could give us to betray our minds and our hearts as it belongs to God our Father. As it belongs to God our Father, who has told us that we are our brother's keeper. To not harm our brothers, but to forgive them. That if our brothers, not the white man, see, Farrakhan is teaching that God said forgive the white man and to the white man. God wasn't telling us to forget the white man, but God is telling us to forgive one another. Not the white man. The white man won't get any forgiveness. He'll be punished. He can't be atoned. The judgment is for him. He can't be atoned, brothers and sisters. But God tells us to forgive one another. He tells us if your brother require of you 1 mile, go 2. If he require of you your cloak, give him your coat also. Why? Because your brother is in need. You and I are in need. And he's telling us to stand together. That's Jesus' way of telling us to stand together. So I want you to know that. And I want you to know that I love you very much. And there's nothing that anybody could do to stop me from loving you. And that's the reason why I come on the channel the way that I do all day or every day. I'll come on the channel to let you know that we love you. Brothers and sisters, don't forget to support us, please. And find someone else that is willing to donate. Every little bit helps, and we're thankful for everything that you do. And I'd be lying if I told you that we didn't need it. We're fighting against the devil to put out the truth. And they're trying to close our clinic, in which would damage our mission to be able to feed the community, both spiritually, physically, and otherwise, because we know that a lot of children aren't eating. So the plan is organized real quick for us to build up the canned goods and build up things that we'll be able to give children in the community, because this is going to be a long, hot summer, and a lot of them won't have food. The families are on drugs. Families are out. A lot of them being left behind. Brothers and sisters, you know how it goes. So we want to make sure that we're there for them. And this program we're doing with another church in the community. So you have brothers and sisters working with other brothers and sisters who happen to be Christian. We've been working in the community with them, and through that ministry also to be able to feed over in that area. So we have a plan. We have a plan, brothers and sisters, and we need your help to be able to do it. And brothers and sisters, I appreciate you so much. I love you, and I say peace be unto you. And tell somebody that you're beside. You may not be on the same accord with them. You may be disagreeing with them. But tell them, brothers and sisters, that you love them. Hug them and tell them that you love them, and they have a friend in you. Brothers and sisters, I leave you with that. And I say unto you, Assalamu alaikum. That means peace be unto you.